Okay, welcome everybody. This is Ken here with Binary Pro Strategies. Okay, so before we get started here, if you've been watching my videos, you know that I'm going to start trading my personal account in the live chat room on day 500. I've already reached day 499. That is 499 of consecutive days trading live in front of my students. That ends at day 500. At day 500, also the price of the course strategy is going up. So right now I'm at $255. It will be going up to $700. So if you're interested, I suggest you get in before, well, Monday is actually going to be day 500. So next week I will be raising the price up to 700. I don't know, probably maybe by Tuesday or Wednesday to give people ample time to get into it. But the price is going up to $700. I've already pretty much proven my strategy. If somebody's not convinced after 500 days of consecutive trading, then the way I look at it, they're not going to be convinced. The intention was never for me to trade in the chat room because it doesn't really do any good. Just because I make money doesn't mean somebody else is going to make money. The purpose of my trading live is to demonstrate that my method does work. So I'm spending a lot more time now working with my students in the chat room and helping them identify the setups, selecting the right strikes, managing their size, and so forth. So that's the game plan. Also, moving forward, the only personal trade I'm going to be doing will be on Thursday nights with the crystal ball. It is crystal ball night. I only trade for those that have purchased a crystal ball package. Crystal ball, as some of you may or may not know, is my favorite method. But I will continue to trade, besides Thursday nights, I'll continue to trade the PAP and the crystal ball during my off hours, but only crystal ball will I continue to trade live with my crystal ball members on Thursday night. So that's where we are. Also, stay tuned. I want you to, I have a new video coming out. I'm going to show you guys what I've been able to do with that small account challenge with the daily setup. Started with $500. I'm going to show you where I am with that account. And I will be, as I move forward, I'm going to be doing a lot more focusing on the daily setups because I know everybody doesn't have the ability to spend a couple hours a day trading these 5-minute setups, which, by the way, are my favorites. But nonetheless, if you don't have that ability or option to do that, then you're going to like the daily setups because I'm using the same patterns that I use for my 5 minutes. And you put them on at night, and that's it. You let them expire. Don't put in stops. Don't have objectives. You just put it on, and you let it expire. And I'm going to show you what I've been able to do with my account trading those setups. So anyhow, that's it. We're going to go ahead and get into the this last week's results. And once again, this is all the way up to 499, and coming Monday will be day 500, and I'll continue to do these weekly updates. They just won't be showing my personal trading because I won't be doing it in front of my students anymore. So anyhow, let's get to this last week's update. All right, welcome everybody. This is going to be a recap for this last week of May 2020, and it was also the final day, or my 500th day of trading live in the chat room. And as I mentioned earlier in prior videos, I was going to stop trading my personal account on day 500 so I can focus more on educating and getting my traders up to speed. It doesn't mean that I'm going to stop my personal trading altogether. I'm just not going to be doing it in live chat room anymore. So anyway, let's kind of take a look and see where we are here. We did have a nice, not a big day, but we did end up $110 on our final day. Sunday, of course, was a holiday, and Natix was also closed Monday morning, so we had Monday night to do a little bit of trading, and the action was not great, but nonetheless still ended up in the green with 110.75. But before I get into the stats, I want to talk about expectation, because I think this is real important when it comes to trading, because there's so much misinformation out there. You see all these crazy returns. People saying they made, 100%, 200%, but if you really dig into what they're doing, it's usually either not true or they did it over one or two trades, but they didn't do it consistently. And the other thing is we have to have realistic expectations of, what can I reasonably expect to make? And one thing is let's compare ourselves to some of the best traders in the world. I mean, these guys that make millions of dollars to run these mutual funds. And I think you're going to be surprised when you really look to see what some of the best traders in the world are making. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at something here. Okay, so here we are, and I just Googled on average mutual fund return. Look at what your average mutual fund return is. Okay, over a 10-year period, 8 to 10%. 8 to 10%. And these guys that manage these mutual funds, I know they're paying them millions of dollars, right, to get an 8 to 10% return. And so the point here is that when it comes to trading, particularly short-term trading, I think we all realize that, we make money very quickly short-term trading, but we can also lose money very quickly short-term trading. And I understand that, these big funds don't have that flexibility, to trade in and out that quickly. But nonetheless, you have to have a realistic expectation of what you're going to make, and it really depends on your account size. So let's say you're at, you're one of the best of the best, okay, and you start with a little $500 account, okay, and you make a 10% return for the coming year. That's basically one Nadex trade, maybe two Nadex trades. You make your $50. But, I guarantee you there's nobody out there that's going to be happy with that. You're going to say, well, I put in 500, I expect I'm going to make, $5, $10, $15, $20,000. And yeah, I know that's what a lot of these YouTubers want you to think, but realistically, it's not going to happen, folks. You want to make that kind of money, you need to put up $50,000, $100,000, okay, dollars. You have to be realistic in terms of what you're making. So if you start off, but I guarantee a majority of you starting off with a small little $500 account or $1,000 account, you wouldn't be happy at the end of the year even if you made a 20% return. You're way above what the professionals can do. But you wouldn't be happy with a 20% return if you did it in a month. So the point being is when it comes to trading, don't think that you're going to start off with a $1,000 account and be making $100, $200 every day. It's not going to happen. Can you do it 1 or 2 days? Yeah, you're going to have lucky days like a lot of these other YouTubers do, but consistently, that's why you don't see their consistent results, because they do it over a day or maybe 2 days, and then you don't see the returns anymore because they've blown themselves out. You can't expect that. So you have to have realistic expectations. Even though it's short term and yes, you can make money very quickly, y'all need to be shooting for like 5%. I mean, if you can do a 5% and even in a day, that's good. But even at the end of the year, if you're only up, $100 and you started with a $500 account, a 20% return is very good. I mean, I know you guys are putting money. A lot of you put money in mutual funds and you put money in your 401ks. You really think that you're going to be able to outperform those kind of returns? Now, you guys are happy with a mutual fund if you make 20%. So why wouldn't you be happy making 20% on a $500 account that you're trading for yourself? Why do you expect that all of a sudden you should be making 100, 200, 300% a year? I mean, it's not realistic. Okay, so an experienced investor knows that. Somebody that's been around knows that if they're happy with a 20% return or a 10% return, they're happy. But you got to remember, a lot of these stock traders, that do this for a living are trading with huge accounts. And so when they say they made 100 or 200,000 last year, you got to realize that that's really a small percentage of their account. And anybody that tells you anything less than that, they're not telling you the truth. But that's realistic. You know, why, if these guys were doing those kind of returns on a small account, don't you think they'd be managing these mutual funds where they could be making millions and millions? You know, why would they be making $100,000, you know, on a $100,000 account, which is 100%, when they can go and work for a mutual fund company and make millions? It doesn't make any sense. So you've got to look at things realistically. So when it comes to trading, you know, you've got to look at your returns over a longer period of time. You know, not how you did last week, not how you did last month. Where are you at the end of the year? And then see where you're at. And I think a lot of you guys may be surprised. You may be way above average. You may be, you know, 20, 30%. Now, because your account size is so small, you may think, well, it's not worth trading. Well, you know, that's just being realistic and coming in with realistic expectations. And anybody that tells you anything less is not telling you the truth. And you know, I'm a straight shooter. And I want to let you all know that you have to have realistic expectations on what you can expect to make. Okay, I don't know how you new traders are expected you're going to outperform these professionals that are making millions of dollars, or somebody that's been trading, you know, 30, 40 years like I have. It's just not going to happen. It takes a lot of time, a lot of practice, a lot of patience, and you're going to go through your ups and you're going to go through your downs. But I wanted to mention that because I think everybody has an unrealistic expectation of what to make, you know. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a look at our stats for the week. All right, overall stats not too bad. Not one of our better weeks. I know this Friday, for a lot of people was really tough. Friday was a really tough day. You know, it's been interesting because for the last several months, Fridays have been really good, but historically, Fridays have been really tough, you know. But I really thought Fridays were changing, and they may be. One day doesn't tell us anything, but this Friday was kind of a typical Friday that I've seen over the last few years. Like up until like the last few months, Fridays have been really good, but it was a kind of what I'd say maybe a typical Friday. It was very choppy, and I know a lot of people had difficulty, particularly if you didn't make your objective first thing in the morning. But nonetheless, the stats for this week were okay. Remember, we only had some of these only had 3 trading sessions. Some had a total of 4. And so once again, keep that in mind, because the more trading sessions, you got to get closer to that average, you know, rate or average percentage, which typically on the U.S. and the Euro and the Yen are usually somewhere above 70, between 70 and 80%. Sometimes we hit even higher. We can go sometimes 85%, as you can see here on the Euro at night. But typically you're going to expect somewhere between, you know, say anywhere between 70 and 80% on average. And that's kind of what my numbers show when I look at the, you know, all my trades put together. But nonetheless, Aussie had done very well. You can see in the evenings, once again, I really like the evening trading. It just, markets are just a little bit less volatile. And I think the movement's a little bit smoother. And also the thing about the dailies is when you're trading in the morning, you'll find that it's you want to come in and hit an objective first thing in the morning. First thing in the morning is really the best time to trade. And when I say first thing in the morning, I'm talking, excuse me, I'm talking, you know, anywhere between 7 to 11 Central Time, or what's that, 8 to 12 Eastern Time is the best time to come in and kind of hit your objective. Because as we go in the afternoon, it gets choppy, and then later in the afternoon, it starts picking up. But later afternoon doesn't give you enough time. You only have about an hour or so there until we get to about 3 o'clock. But then in the evening, anytime after 7 or 8 Eastern, markets pick up another really good time to trade. So if you have a choice, if you can't trade first thing in the morning, best come in and trade at night. Anytime after 8 p.m. Eastern Time is a good time to trade. But the stats overall, pound was, usually runs in that 60%, 44%, a little low, but I know that pound didn't have a whole lot of trades. So, little skewed on the percentages, but, overall staying within what I would expect. Now, one thing that you're going to notice here, and I'm going to be going more into stats with these future videos, but one of the things I want to show you is that, when you get down to 44% like that, to me, that tells me that this next coming week, we're going to see that get pulled up here. So wouldn't be surprised to see a lot better trading coming in on the pound. Same with the euro during the day. Euro's a little bit low. I expect that to come down. And like I said, I'm going to, on future videos, since I'm not going to be talking about, how I've been doing in the chat room, we're going to be talking more about looking at some sample charts. We're going to be looking at the stats for the days and for the weeks and so forth. And there's some really interesting things that these stats can tell us about what our expectation is going to be for a particular pair. Okay, so anyhow, that's kind of where we are for this last week. Also, as I mentioned prior, that this is pretty much the last week in here, right? June 1st, price goes up on the core strategy. So if you're interested in learning exactly how I've been trading, how I do this, it's all disclosed in the core package. And you can still get into that for $255. And then come on June 1st, it goes up to $700. So anyway, that's going to be it. You can also follow us on Instagram, Pro Strategies. And if you'd like to get on our email list, we do send these reports out via email as well. Send them out once a week. And just go to binaryprostrategies.com, provide me with your email address, and we'll get you on that list as well. So that's it. I hope everybody have a great trading week coming up. And next weekend, we'll do our next update. But this week, if I was trading, I would really start looking at this euro. Keep an eye on the Aussie, keep an eye on the euro, and focus more if you can in the evenings, because they always consistently have been very strong. So that's it. Any questions, comments, please leave them below, and I'll come back and answer them when I can. Otherwise, you can always shoot me an email. Just go to my website, binaryprostrategies.com, and shoot me an email. Everybody have a great week. We will talk to you soon.